Well, welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Johnny Brown.
What's up, Robbie? How's it going?
Basically, your nickname is Johnny B, right?
Yeah. Ever since I was a kid, that's
You're named after a song, bro. You are
yeah.
named after a song. Johnny Be Good. So why are you so good, Johnny? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Um, yeah. By day, I'm an engineer for a company that does different products for the oil and gas industry. But in my free time, I try to make as much pizza as possible. Basically,
So you're a Pizzaiolo?
I wouldn't call myself a pizzaiolo. I'm an enthusiast,
You're a
I would
pizza
say.
enthusiast. Now, this is a big thing in my book because I've talked to a few pizzaiolos. And let me tell you something. I have some questions for you now. Do you like oregano on your pizza?
Yes.
Good man. Do you also, what do you think on dessert pizzas? Because for me, that's a big issue.
Man, dessert pizza rocks if you do it right, but if you do it wrong, it's terrible.
Okay. All right. I'll let you slide on that question. I don't believe you should be putting ice cream on a pizza, but to each is their own. I came across a Nutella pizza one time and I almost vomited.
No,
Now,
um, you go like just a little bit of like some different fruits and berries, a little bit of maple syrup or honey, maybe a little bit of mascarpone on top of that when it comes out of the oven, then you're all good. But
I like the idea of creativity, but I mean, when it comes to like food, I'm pretty picky when it comes to like a good slice. Like, I didn't know what a good slice was until I started seeing all these pizza like makers on Instagram, and you're looking at these pizzas like, damn, like Domino's, any of these pizza joints never had something like that. Whenever I ordered as a kid, it was Domino's. I only went to Pizza Hut. I don't know if if you're too familiar with these fast food chains, but Pizza Hut used to be big with the salad bar. That was a huge thing. And then
yeah,
then one day, like I walked in, they put up a sneeze guard for people not to sneeze on the salad. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. It's an open bar scenario where like people can just vomit, people can just sneeze, a little kid can, spit all over the food, and I'm eating that. And I'm like, that's delicious. Maybe that's where they get that Pizza Hut quality, you know what I mean?
yeah. The Pizza Hut buffet was a big favorite when we were young. We used to head through to the local, Aberdeen. It's like an hour away. That was the closest one. And, like me and my friends used to go around there and just see who could eat the most slices of pizza at the Pizza Hut buffet.
What would you say would be the worst, like, least pizza place in general? Like, if you were going to pick between all these giant major chains, because I always say it's like, well, if we're going to talk about, I guess, personality or I guess social standards, I would say Little Caesars is trash. I don't care anybody out there is listening if you like Little Caesars. It tastes like plastic pizza. It's not good. Hot and ready, my ass. Um, but Papa John seems the most corrupt in my opinion. I don't know what it is. I think when I look into his eyes on the commercials and I see Peyton Manning there, there's just something about him where I'm like, this is what happens when someone makes a deal with the devil. They like go to a crossroads and Papa John just pops up like, you rang?
Yeah. No, I mean we don't have Little Caesars over here. We've got Papa John's, we've got Domino's, we've got Pizza Hut, but I mean they'll do in a pinch, but none of them are great. You know what I mean? I wouldn't choose any of them.
Well, how do you typically choose your pizza joint? Like, what made you want to become a pizza enthusiast?
I mean, we've been eating pizza like it was always one of me and my sister's favorite meals growing up. Um, every Friday night we'd get a pizza from the local takeaway. Um, but it's just one of those things that kind of after I went to uni and stuff, I started realizing that it was quite difficult to get good pizza anywhere. All pizza that you were getting around the place was kind of really similar and not of a very high quality, just made with cheap ingredients, trying to keep the profit margins high and stuff. So I
What do
just
you typically prefer to be in a good pizza slice? Like when you bite into a slice, what do you like about your pizza? Do you like the endless amounts of cheese that like drip off the side of the pizza slice? I don't like it when it comes to the point you have to use a fork and a knife to try and scoop up the rest of the pizza off like a paper plate. Because That's so pretentious to me. I don't know what it is, but like when they give you like a really sloppy pizza slice and then like they expect you to eat it off this paper plate, and as you're lifting the pizza slice up to your mouth, it's all dropping on the table or dropping on the thing, and then they're like, fucking pick it up, pig, pick it up, like you're gonna eat it. And I'm like, oh, this is so terrible. You're sitting there like, stop staring at me, and you're just like scooping it up off the plate. I'm like, that just seems so savage to me.
Nah, man, it's all about balance. You got to just get, like, if you get too much sauce or too much cheese, it just throws the whole thing off, and it just doesn't taste like pizza anymore.
Yeah. Do you prefer a lot of toppings on your pizza, or you like to keep it classic, like basic cheese, maybe another topping or pepperoni or something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to go to two or three toppings, but like when it comes to good pizza, less is more. Like if you put too much stuff on top of a pizza, it's just not going to cook right. It's going to be like doughy and soft in the middle. It's not going to, you're not going to get that nice like little crisp that you get on the base.
Yeah, I always wondered, like, because I mean, through my friends, everybody's got their own personal preference. Me, for so long, I was a basic cheese guy. I was mostly because it was a cost thing. Domino's was like, it's an extra 50 cents per topping. I'm like, I only have $20, and when it gets here, it's going to be 26 something. So I'm going to have to bribe the pizza guy. I always that's also a big like. I mean, just like you talk to any food reviewer, the reason why they review a food or they're an enthusiast of a food is because the fact is it has a certain memory or like nostalgia feel in their head. Like if you reviewed, yeah, if you reviewed snacks or something, you probably went to a convenience store a lot as a kid and picked up snacks like for, with your friends or something. Well, for me, it was pizza, snacks, all these types of things. They were stuff I ordered when my parents would give me $20 at a friend's house, and that would be gone the first fucking night. You're spending it on Monster energy drinks. And then I remember I ordered a pizza one time, and the pizza guy showed up, and we were playing Halo 3 ODST, and we were trying to get this
Yeah.
VidMaster achievement. So we've been playing for 4 hours straight. No piss breaks. Everybody's just playing it out. And this pizza guy comes up and he's like, it's going to be 22.36 or something. I'm like, I only have $16. He's like, you're not getting the pizza then. I'm like, let me talk to you for a minute. So I came in. I mean, I was probably 12 years old. I sat this guy down and I convinced his ass. I was like, dude, we're in the middle of Halo 3 ODST, a VidMaster achievement. And let me tell you something. I don't have the money to pay you for the rest of this pizza, but if you could please work with us on this. And he was like in his 20s, my age probably now. And he just goes, all right. And he grabs a slice and just walks out. I'm like, this was the best feeling in the world. And kids are going to miss out today on that with
Yeah.
Uber Eats and stuff.
Yeah, you don't. I guess like the pizza delivery thing's not ever been as big here as it is in the US, but I mean, like you can see the change with like it all going to these sort of bigger chain, um, sort of like more corporate companies running the delivery for everybody rather than just each individual place having their own delivery guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we lose a little bit of the passion and also the experience behind it when, like, you don't really notice as a kid when you order from like a corporate place. Obviously, it's the cheapest thing possible. But once you become like an adult and you start going out and searching for your own, you start finding all these local businesses, these mom and pop shops. You start to realize like the importance of buying from these stores. Like it really helps them out rather than helping out like a pocket of a company or something.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely putting your money in the right place. You're helping like your own local economy rather than and filling some big banker's pockets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you stand on? Like, what's a pizza moment for you? What's a specific thing that, like, you talked about having it as a kid, one with your sister. So it's like, yeah, you have some nostalgia when you take a bite of that pizza. You're thinking back to some certain moments.
Man, there's a lot of different memories. Like you go, like I say, go back to being a kid. Like we used to go into the pizza shop, and the guy that ran the pizza shop here used to come around and like lift my sister up and put her onto the counter, and then we'd sit and like just would help him fold pizza boxes. He'd like would do puzzles with them and shit like that when we were waiting for our pizza and stuff. It was like a whole experience every Friday night. You know what I mean? Just completely different to what you would get if you'd gone into a Pizza Hut or something, and then
Yeah. If you walk in a Pizza Hut, they're not putting her up on the counter. They're putting her in the oven.
yeah, exactly.
Toast her up. That was the only cool thing about Pizza Hut was like they had a jukebox inside where you could just flip through all the music or whatever. Like I would play Endless Summer Nights, that freaking and and there'd be people in the restaurant like, oh my God, it's the 15th time he's played this fucking song. I'm like, that means you've been here for an hour and a half. You got a problem, get up and leave. And like my family would be like, stop being so confrontational. You're 8 years old. I'm like, what? I'm hyped. I just had pepperoni on my pizza. I'm freaking pumped and ready to go. I'm stocked up on protein. One of you bitches is getting body slammed. Like it was that type of like, I was that kid.
Nice.
I think when it comes to like these moments that we get with food and all, though, it's pretty interesting. Like I've talked to like pizza chefs and I've talked to so many people that when I'm listening to them talk about something and they're so enthusiastic about it, I'm just sitting there just like, so what moment sticks out in your head? And you start to realize these experiences that people have. It's like reading a book. Like when somebody writes a biography of how they got somewhere, it's like you're seeing through the eyes of that individual. I think that's pretty important. I mean, I like to have a little bit of fun with it. Be like, what do you think on this? Like, because I played a lot of video games growing up and, watched a lot of movies, and a lot of it was like Godfather type stuff, like mafioso type things. So whenever I hear Pizzaiolo, I immediately think of like a mafia that's going to cut your fingers off if you don't hit that 30 minutes or less mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like, you got so many different memories. Like, I mean, even up till like last year, I went to New York for the first time and tried a bunch of different pizza joints in New York. And like, man, I still dream about some of the pizzas that I ate over there. I'm still trying to recreate some of that shit back in my backyard. You know what I mean?
How when did you start to create your own pizza? Like when did you take this adventure?
Um, it's probably been about 10 years since probably more than 10 years since I like first started trying to give it a go. But probably like 5 or 6 years I've been like a bit more serious about it, trying to actually learn stuff.
You don't consider yourself a pizzaiolo after 5 to 6 years, at least, diving into it a little bit? I mean, that's more than me. The farthest I've created with a pizza, um, Lunchables, I think, the little package with the pizza inside. Like I even messed that up. Eventually it's like you just bite the bread piece and then you just take the pizza sauce and you squeeze it in your mouth, and like people are like, that's not how you do it. I'm like, dude, it's just too much work. If you need step-by-step directions to make food, it's not easy for kids. I don't like that. Give me Dunkaroos. I know what to do with it. It's in the name. You dunk it and it's over.
Yeah. No, man, like I mean, I because I'm pretty into pizza, I kind of take the title of Pizzaiolo pretty seriously. So, like, I mean, if I haven't trained in a proper restaurant environment and been throwing out, hundreds of pies every day, then I don't think that it's fair to consider myself up there with those guys when they've been doing that for years and years and years. You know what I mean?
That's pretty humble of you. I think when we look up like the hashtag pizza community, which I didn't know was a thing until like I think a couple months ago, but it's very, very positive when it comes to a lot of these artisan pizza makers that are really just trying to be like, oh, great pizza slice, great this. But you come across your assholes, man. I've came
Oh yeah.
across a few of them where I was like, why are you dissing this guy's pizza skills? Like they come in acting like they have way more of a wealth of knowledge than you, just because like they might be real Italian or they might be something that is more heritage towards. It's like this is one of like the bonding foods. Like when I picture any war that we've ever fought and we've ever solved without winning or losing, like been like like, oh, we're at a stalemate and they shake hands or something, I see pizza. I mean, for every grade I had in school, the winning prize was a fucking pizza party. You know how many box tops and coupons I had to sell to get me a pizza party for my class? They're like, first place is going on a field trip. Second place is a pizza party. I'm like, how the fuck do we get in second place? Like, why do you want to come in second? I'm like, it's pizza. I don't want to travel. What? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, the pizza party sounds a lot better than a field trip anyway.
I mean, getting on a bus with a bunch of people that you really don't like, and then they always sit you next to someone that's like either really, really weird or really, really hot. It's never an in-between. You never get like a friend. At least I never did. I was like, here's Jenny Cristalli sitting next to me as we take a 3-hour bus ride to fucking Baltimore. I got IBS, probably going to have to pull over and take a shit. So like, it's just awkward. It's not fun. And I hate school.
Yeah. No, but like the pizza community on Instagram is really quite positive, like in general, and they're really I sound most of the guys that I've spoken to anyway. But like the Reddit pizza community, that's like a different scene. A lot of those guys are really nice as well, but there's a couple of guys on there that are just total asshats.
It's trolls, bro. It's like Twitter. It's like a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I signed up for a Reddit account, and I was like, hey, like when I first started this podcast, like anybody want to be a guest? You pull some creepy people on there. It's like when you search on Craigslist and you realize there's a lot more than just people selling things on Craigslist. They're also selling services, and one of these services is like, hey, I want you to come over to my house and punch me in the balls as hard as you can. It's like,
Yeah.
where are we going here?
Yeah, there's some wild people out there on like a couple of those platforms. Like,
Dude, that's a great app right there. Is if you had like a app for therapists where like they just pull people from Reddit, like get their IP address, just come to their house, be like, I want to talk to you, Scrotum Puncher 26. You wrote this comment on Reddit saying this, and then it's like, what happened here? And then you just start getting all the emotional trauma, like, oh, okay, you were hurt. You were hurt.
just like the end of Jay and Silent Bob, but a therapist instead of them two just going around kicking people's asses.
Do you know how many times I've had that moment that I wanted to do that with somebody on like Xbox or somebody on like, you're just sitting there listening, like some dude's like, your mom's a whore. It's like, I want to know where you live just so I can have that Jay and Silent Bob moment. It's like, did you say this? And then just grab them and throw them out of their house.
Yeah.
Well, when you're crafting out, let's turn it back over to pizza a little bit. When you're crafting out a pizza, when you take that first bite, what exactly do you typically look at first?
Well, like before I take a bite, like I'll check out the crust, check out how it looks underneath, how it's cooked, if it stands or if it flops. Like if it looks like it's got too much cheese or whatever, if it smells right,
So
then
is the quality of it, like if I take a pizza slice and I hold it like upside down like this, like the triangle, so the top's pointed up, if the pizza starts to bend, is that bad or is that good?
well, it depends on what kind of pizza you're making. Like if you're making a Neapolitan style pizza, you want it to have a bit of flop in it. But if you're making like a New York style or like a Jersey Star style bar pie or something like that, you want it to be proper, like stiff when you hold it. Or at
Yeah.
least that's how I like a New York style. I know that not everybody does, but that's how I like it anyway.
I mean, I think like it's weird because I didn't really know about Neapolitan styles until after talking to a few like pizzaiolos that make it in that type of style and stuff. And I was always used to the classic, just like regular pizza slice that you would get like at a like a random restaurant like Domino's or something. But I'm a big crust man. Where do you stand on the crust? I mean, I there's a
Uh,
thing called false crust. You ever heard of that? Where it's like you bite into it and it's nothing but air on the inside. I know there's a good part when air is good, like a good quality
yeah,
one, like, but there's also a false one where you bite into it and it's like you just bit into like like if you took a pillowcase and just shoved air in it and you bite into it, it's like getting nothing but air.
yeah.
Like
It's
that
just
doesn't.
like big bubbles,
Yeah.
just like one big bubble. But no, I mean, if you don't have a good crust, you don't have a good pizza.
So are you a thick crust man or thin crust?
I'm a thin crust guy.
Where do you stand on cheesy crust?
If I mean, if it makes it better, or like if you like it, like I mean, I make all kinds of pizza. I'll make thick crusts like Sicilians or Detroit style pizzas and stuff like that because that's like my wife. She really likes that kind of pizza. My sister, she really likes that kind of pizza, so I make it all the time as well. I mean, it's good. It's just I prefer a thin crust. Like some people, like my father-in-law, he's always at me. He wants me to make him a cheese stuffed crust because that's what he likes, and I'll make it. But it wouldn't be my preferred way of eating it personally.
Honestly, I might say I'm picky or I analyze pizza pretty well, but I'll eat any type of pizza. I mean, I had some of the best pizza that I'll ever have in my life, and it's the only reason why I might get arrested in the future because I don't think you're allowed to be above the age of 18 and go back to your middle school. But they always served pizza at school lunch, and it was like the best pizza I think I've ever had in my life. Like, I'm always jealous. My cousin's like, today was pizza day. I'm like, what type did you have? Did you have the ones that are like the cheese sticks? Did you have the one that comes in like a little circle, like it's your own personal? Did you have the garlic bread one? The one that's like, looks like they took a loaf of bread, just cut the top or like split it in half, cut it like in the inside out and put pizza stuff in it, like a potato skin or something. And he goes, I think it was the garlic bread one. I'm like, it's not you think, it's you know. You would know if you had this pizza. And he's just like, dude, it's pizza. Calm down. I'm like, it's not just pizza. Realize when you get out of school, that lunch that you're taking for granted, the one you think is just amazing pizza day, is never going to happen to you again. You're going to die alone. And he's like, I'm 7. I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. You need to know how the world works right now.
Hey, man, look, I still make French bread pizza and stuff for like a little snack to myself all the time.
It's good, right?
Like, of course it's fucking good. Like, you got some sauce left over, you got some cheese left over, you got some pepperoni in the fridge. You throw that shit on a fucking baguette. Even better if you made that baguette yourself. But like, if you got that shit lying about, man, why would you not eat it?
So many people I've talked to are like, that's not traditional pizza. That's not good pizza. I'm like, it's pretty freaking banging, man. Like, I don't know what it is, but like when I bite into a crust, I like a thick crust. I don't like it when it's paper thin, like it's like
Yeah,
glass, because when you bite into it, like it feels like shards biting into your mouth or something. But I like it thick and I like it a little burnt. I like it pretty crusty, like a Texas Roadhouse garlic bread if you
yeah,
bake it too long. I like it like that because it gives me that crunch factor I need. I mean, so many pizzas I've had where like the dough feels raw and it's like you bite into it, it's like tastes like
yeah.
I'm eating like a buttered sock.
Yeah, that's one thing that I hate is when you get like an undercooked pizza. It's the worst thing ever. I would way rather have it super crispy and burnt than undercooked at all.
But you don't want it to the point where it's like so crispy that, like, when you get to the ending of the Pringles can where all the crumbs are at the bottom and
Yeah, yeah, you don't
you
want it to do that.
you tip it up and it just starts going down and getting all over. You don't want it like that to where, I mean, it's still weird. We
No.
consider pizza a travel food too. Like, I mean, if you ever go to like I live in a beach town, a touristic spot. So we have these things like little carnival games on the boardwalk. And, whenever you go to a carnival or an amusement park, they always sell like a pizza slice on like a paper plate and they make you walk and eat it. Um, you know, it's considered a travel food in that way. So you don't want it so much to where you're walking and it's like a task to try and eat the pizza. Like it's just
Yeah.
dripping all over the place. You're like, oh, I mean, I've picked up a pizza slice before and had all the cheese droop right off the thing. And I'm like, wow, that was sad. And someone's just like, oh, take the fork and put it back onto the pizza slice. I'm like, that's not how this works. I like to fold it like a taco and eat my pizza.
Yeah, that's how I eat pizza.
Most people
Fold
try
it
it with
right
a
up.
fork. And apparently
Fold
that's
it right up and just
yeah,
stuff it in there.
apparently a fork and a knife is the traditional way. And I'm like, that sounds like some pretentious stuff.
Nah.
Like, let me get a side of wine that's been aged 50 years while I eat this pizza slice. I'm like, what do you have a fork and knife for? Use your hands. We're barbarians. This is what we
No,
do.
man, unless you're eating like Chicago deep dish or something, like you don't need a fork and knife.
Do you consider Chicago deep dish like I would call it like a lasagna or a more of like a calzone or something? I'm just like, I look at it, it's in a pan. I don't really consider it a pizza. I consider it like yeah, like a lasagna a little bit.
Yeah, there seems to be a big contingency of people in the US that are total like Chicago deep dishes and pizza, it's lasagna or whatever. But like, I mean, that's never really come over this side. I've just always known it as a different style of pizza. I've never had, I don't think I've ever had true Chicago style deep dish pizza. So until I manage to get over there, I'll just have to say that I don't know.
When it comes to your best pizza memory, I have to ask, was it sober or was it drunk?
Um, Now, right, my best pizza memory is, yeah, I was sober.
Okay.
Um,
What's the pizza memory? Because I had one, but it wasn't sober.
the sitting on sitting on a little planter on a street in New York, eating the Prince Street spicy spring slice. Like that thing is unbelievable. It's like a square Sicilian pizza, and it's just absolutely covered in pepperoni, and like
Well, when you traveled, did you go and search out for these places? Like, did you go like, I'm gonna hit this pizza joint, I'm gonna hit this spot?
Yeah, yeah, like we totally had a plan of like what pizza places I wanted to hit, and luckily we managed to get into the Slice Out Hunger event that was on at the same time as we were there. So there was like 50 different pizza places all congregated in this like church, and like they raise money to for Slice Out Hunger. It's like a hunger charity to in New York. I think they were raising money for like it was City Meals, I think it's called. So it's like a Meals on Wheels kind of thing for like older people in New York that can't get out and stuff. But so we ticked off all the ones that were going to be there, and basically went searching out for like the other ones that I wanted off of my list, and managed to. We didn't manage to get them all, but we managed to get a bunch of them, and it was. But the Prince Street Spicy Spring, man, that's next level. That shit.
I look at I had this like I went to a concert one time in College Park in Baltimore, Maryland, and I was like, I mean, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. We're walking back from the concert, so it's like a good 2 mile walk. So like, you're not exactly sober. You're walking back, and then you pass by a pizza joint, and there's this pizza joint called Ratsy's. I've talked the good gracious of Ratsy's, even though they closed down like a year after this certain memory happened. But I walk in, and I mean, you're sitting there. There's just this one old Italian guy in the back. He goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Pizza." I smell it. Let me get some of that. Like, you can just smell the yeast or whatever when you walk in. You can smell that freaking like it's that good where the door's just open and
Yeah.
they're bringing in people off like the snowy cold. I mean, this is the middle of winter and I'm in a short sleeve shirt freezing my balls off. But, I walk in, I'm like, all right, how much for pizza slice? He's like $12.99 or something. I'm like, fucking $12.99 for a fucking pizza slice. But as I'm saying that, I'm also pulling out my wallet like I'm going to pay it anyway. And I hand him a 20, he gives me my change back, and I'm sitting there, and I must have waited like 20 minutes. I'm like, are they baking me a whole pie? Like, I see 15 slices on the counter. Like, I can't just grab. I was honestly thinking about reaching over and grabbing one. And he pulls out this giant pizza slice. I mean, like 2 feet long, dude. I swear to you, it was huge. And I'm looking at him. He goes, "Here's your slice." I'm like, "That's my slice?" He goes, "Yeah, that's why it's $12.99." I'm like, "Oh, fuck. All right, shit." I ate the thing, dude. I didn't feel good afterwards, but dude, oh my god, when you talk about having a good food baby, like when you lay back in the hotel, like when I finally got back to the hotel, I was holding my stomach, like I'm in so much pain, but it's so
Yeah.
good. It's so good.
Yeah. No. I mean, the food of choice here when you're drunk is usually like a chicken kebab or something.
A chicken
That's
kebab
yeah. It's like there's kebab shops all over the UK when you're
with a
out drinking.
on a skewer.
No, just like in pita bread, and then they cover it in like salad and chili sauce and garlic sauce.
I was about to say that's the worst thing you give to a drunk person is a skewered
Oh,
food.
well, yeah. I mean, even just the amount of sauce that's on those things, it just creates a mess anyway.
How do you feel about like the people that put the swords, the little fake plastic like swords, into your food?
I fucking hate that shit.
Have you ever had a bad experience with one of those things?
I almost bit into like one of them and got stuck in my
Please
mouth.
tell me your story because I have a similar one, dude. I gotta make sure I'm not the only person in the world that's ever had this happen.
No, man, just like having dinner and like, you get your burger and you're just like, you've had a few drinks or whatever, you're super excited to bite in the burger, you pick it up, you go to bite into it, and you just feel this thing like stabbing you in the top of the mouth. Like, what the fuck? Get
Yes.
the fuck.
I went to I went to this place called Ponzetti's, and it was me and a couple of my friends, and I was the first one to order, so I was like, let me get my classic, what I always get at like Wawa, which is like let me get a cheesesteak sub, a little bit of lettuce, tomato, black pepper, and then that's it. And all my buddies were like, we'll order the same thing, so it was all three of us getting the same thing. I'm like, freaking followers, you're all sheep. And then this woman drops off these sandwiches, and there's a green sword sitting in the middle of my sandwich, but I didn't see it because it was covered by some of the lettuce and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I went and I was talking to my buddy. I was like, yeah, and I stabbed right into the roof of my mouth, dude. I took it out, put it down, and everybody saw me do it first. And they're like, oh, well, we're going to take this out of here. I'm like, wow. And I just sat there and I looked at her and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you bit into that. I'm like, you should have told me there's something holding the sandwich together. How am I supposed to expect that? McDonald's doesn't do this fancy bullshit. Why are you?
Yeah, no, it's because they always seem to push it in too far so you can't see it anymore. Like it's okay when it's like huge, so it's like totally visible
Yeah.
because it's like 3 times the size of the burger or whatever. So you're like, oh, okay, take that shit out. But when it's the ones that just like they're like the exact height of the burger, you can't see them. They're just like completely hidden by bun because it's like sprung back up.
I was like,
What the fuck, man?
if I ever own a restaurant, I'm just gonna take a nail gun and nail gun a sandwich to the freaking table. So you're sitting there trying to pick it up, like, why the fuck is it not getting up off the thing? I think, ma'am, I think there's a problem with my sandwich. No, we nailed it to the table, so it stays together and looks picture perfect forever.
Yeah, get your fork and knife out.
Yeah, get you. Oh no, no, no! Pull out the wine glasses on that one. Where when you like what's your I guess I would have to ask you what would be your what would be your plan for the future? I mean, I know you're doing engineering and stuff, but is there anything you really want to take off with like this pizza thing a little bit? Sounds like if you've been interested in it for so long, you might want to end up owning your own pizza shop or at least maybe like a pizza service.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, like we don't really have slice shops where I'm from. Like I live up in the northeast Scotland, and there's no like there's no places you can go just to buy a slice. There's a lot of places you can go to buy a decent, well, half decent pizza. Um, but like unless you're traveling all the way to like Glasgow or Edinburgh, there's no places that you can go and buy like a big 20-inch pie even,
Yeah, I
or
think
like
that's
just a
important too.
slice.
I mean, you got
But
to
like
look at,
so,
well, if you look at like all the quality of places that we have in this, like in the United States, for instance, there's places like Tennessee that focus on like barbecue, focus on all
yeah,
these things. Like, but you see so many businesses that are diving into something completely different and bringing a new heritage there. Like, I'm from a beach town, so we constantly have fish, but then we have a barbecue spot open up and it's fucking packed. Everybody's like, we've
yeah,
never had this type of food before. You know, we're used to fish constantly. I'm like, that'd be perfect if you talk about like opening up like a pizza place where there's not really any pizza places. I mean, you guys would be banging for business.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I don't have any plans to do it at the moment, but like that's something that I do want to try and do in the future. Is I'd love to open like a proper New York style slice shop. I mean, I'd still serve like Neapolitan style pies for like people coming in for like date night and shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Have you thought of any designs for it or anything? Have you thought of any like maybe a name or something? I mean, you had to entertain the idea at one point. I mean, if one point in my life I thought about owning like a gummy bear store, I would call it like Gum to Death or something. You know, something that would be entertaining, like, and you'd get Garbage Pail Kids because I always thought those were fucking awesome when I was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, nah, like I haven't really. I don't have a name. Yeah, I don't have a name for it. I know what I would, how I would like the place to be laid out. I know what I would want
All
the
right.
vibe of the place to be like and stuff. But
I'm standing on the sidewalk. Walk me through your idea of a place that's perfect. Because I can tell you, every pizza joint, at least that you go and pick up a pizza, is like, it's pretty awkward. Like, either it's like you can sit down right off to the side, or you get to sit there and watch the people make the pizza, which I think is fun if you want to do that. But if I was a pizzaiolo or a pizza chef, I wouldn't want to be out in the open only because I like to focus on my craft. And it's hard when you got a bunch of drunk kids
yeah,
saying, do a flip. You're like, I'm
yeah.
fucking throwing dough, bro. It's like, do a flip.
No, man. Like, I'd like to have a place where like you can like come in. There's like sort of booths like up against the window. There's a couple of little tables scattered about the rest of the floor and stuff. But there's like a bar over like on one side, so you can go and sit at the bar and just have a few drinks and get a slice or whatever. Pizza oven's completely on the other side, like over in the back corner, but you can like still see like the flame from the wood burning oven, but the guys are still like shielded enough that they're not completely open out in the open. You know what I mean?
Have you seen anything about a pizza spot or a place that you've went and eaten pizza that was like, I mean, just from trying so many places and at least making your own, you know, a little bit on like what goes into a good quality pizza or what somebody should have did to make it a good pizza. Have you came across anything that's you would see as a bit of a crime in a way that like people get away with? I always see like to rush orders if somebody's busy, they'll cook a pizza on like a higher degree in the oven. Either they'll burn the shit out of it, which I don't mind, but or they'll undercook it just to crank out orders fast. And I'm like, you basically are serving these people really raw ass dough.
No, man. The only real problem I have with a lot of pizza places over here, anyway, is that they just use cheap, shitty ingredients. Like, there's a lot of people who think they don't like certain toppings on pizza, and I truly believe that a lot of it is just because you only ever get the cheap, shitty version of that. You never get the real version.
Yeah, I feel like if you did pineapple on a pizza right, it would taste pretty good.
Yeah, like I mean, I do different pies with pineapple on them, but I use fresh pineapple and I cut it up into like tiny little chunks because you don't want a big piece of pineapple because it just ruins it. It just if you got a big piece of pineapple, it makes it taste like shit because all you taste is pineapple. You don't taste anything else.
I think
But you got people,
it's also the way you put the pineapple on the pizza. Like I know so many like these Pizzaiolo guys you're talking about with the big egos or something. I know a
yeah,
few that like I just refuse to get on the podcast because it's like they're always just criticizing somebody else's work. I'm like, you can't yell at pineapple for being a non-traditional pizza. It might not be traditional, but it's also how you do it. Are you doing it with pineapples out of a can, like Dole Plantation pineapples or something? You need to go take those pineapple slices, slice it up, roast them on like a pan or grill them or something, and then toss them on a pizza, man. Dice them up real thin. So I get what you're saying, not having them super huge slices, not only because it overtakes the whole pizza slice, but when you bite into the pizza, we know when you get the top of a topping, like the corner of a pizza, a pepperoni or something, and the whole fucking pepperoni comes with you, it's like, damn,
yeah,
now that bite, my next bite is going to be blank as hell.
yeah. But no, man, like you gotta just do the. I like it fresh pineapple, just tiny little pieces, and then you got to pair it up with something that's like super salty, so like some sort of salami or like an andouille or something. And then I always like to have a little bit of a kick. So if I'm not doing it for kids, I'll always put like chilies and stuff like that on it as well, because that's how I like it. That's how I balance it out. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of acid, a little bit of heat, and a little bit of salty, and it just all kind of marries together.
I've kind of been thinking about this during this conversation, but like, do you think there's a way that we can do something with pizza that's like a benefit? I mean, we see all these things with pizza shops that are donating their money or donating slices to like, I know during the COVID situation, there's people that are donating their pizzas to help these first responders, help these people that are on the line dealing with it every single day. But I'm like, is there a program we can get involved, like kids off the street making pizza to keep them away from like bad lifestyles or something? Like, I always talk about like if we look at a pizza shop or something and they throw out a lot of their ingredients or throw out a lot of the pizzas that they don't eat, or if they're taking it home. I mean, there's kids in Romania, Bulgaria that come down here, J1 students that don't have a lot to eat. I mean, they work their second job at a restaurant just to be able to take food home and stock their fridge up to it. So I'm like, is there a way we could donate pizza to these foreign exchange students to help? Because I mean, they're paying out the ass to live at some place because they don't know the prices of everything. And then homeless people, man. I mean, if you get them to sign a waiver, I mean, I've come across at Walmart or at some grocery store where they're like, "Oh, it expires today. Sorry, we can't sell it to you. We're going to throw it out." It's like, did you know there's homeless people? Like, I'm pretty sure it could last 1 or 2 weeks after the expiration date, in the package if it's not open.
There's I know that there's a couple of things like in Aberdeen anyway. That's like the closest city to me. There's I can't remember what they're called though. I need to look it up. But they take like excess food from shops and stuff, and they like sort of repackage it and distribute it to food banks and like to homeless shelters and stuff, so that all the food's not actually getting wasted. It's actually getting used and getting to people that actually need it.
Yeah, call it like salvage the slices or something, or like,
Yeah, I can't remember what the one in Aberdeen's called, but there's definitely one there, and like I know that there's a couple of I know that there's a couple like in different places as well. There was guys that I saw on Instagram the other week donating pizzas out to homeless in LA.
do you think there'd be a different way to do it than homeless people? Like, could we do convicts for pizza or something like convicts with crust? Like we open up this thing where you go to like prison and it's like, we're going to teach you how to make pizzas. I feel like that would help a lot with them. Cause I always talk about like when you're hitting that dough and you're beating the shit out of it and you're like taking it and slamming it on the table. Like you see some dude that's going ham on it, like picking it up and he's coming from the top row. And he's like elbow dropping the pizza dough. And you're like, that guy's got some anger issues that he's trying to settle through. I'm like, is this a way that we could use this as a form of therapy? I mean, like, convicts that have these anger, like first you're gonna press into the dough like you're pressing on somebody's throat, and then they're squeezing it down like that, and you're just listening to this guy talk about basically murdering or how he would beat up a pizza slice, and then he goes, and if choking them doesn't work, what you do is you take this thing right here and he pulls out like a toothbrush shank and just starts shanking the shit out of the dough. You're like, oh, this is how we make pizza, convict style. But I'm like, I think that'd be a good form of therapy, maybe a relief in some occasions, because I think a lot of people just need, we all have pent up aggression. It's so easy just to
Yeah.
get it out.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we have a few programs here where like they teach people how to cook and stuff like that, not just what I mean, just like a generic sort of cooking class. Because like if you start getting all fucked up when you're in the kitchen, and you start losing your temper and shit, your food comes out shit. But if you manage to keep your cool and like what I mean, you don't and you're giving into the food. What you put in is what you get back. So if you're putting in all this shitty anger, you get shitty food out. But if you're putting in care and attention and love, then you get good food out of it.
There's
And I
also a
think that's a
different
good thing for people to learn.
Well, there's a different aspects when it comes to chefs. It's the guys that want to spend all their money getting the best ingredients possible, getting the best equipment possible, but never really take the time to learn anything about pizza making, just rely on a lot of the equipment that they use. And then there's the people that really want to study as much as they can, and they might not be able to afford the best pizza oven, might not be able to afford the best ingredients, the most rarest ingredients, but they put so much care and so much knowledge and time into it and passion towards it. It ends up tasting pretty fucking good. I'm like, as long as you gave it a shot, in my book, it's going to be good. Like I've had people, when I ordered a slice one time, I've had people that are like, man, I'm sorry, man, it came out like this. It's not good. I'll have to make you another pizza. I'm so sorry. The next one's going to be free. I'm like, dude, come here, sit down. Let's enjoy this slice. And I'll bite into it. I mean, it was burnt as shit, but I was like, it's good, man. I'm not a picky eater at all. The only time like you'll ever see if I'm not going to eat something is usually if I put a lot of ketchup on it. I'm like, I can't fucking, this is too much. Like my dad does that and he knows, he's like, I know I didn't do good on tonight's meal. I'm like, how do you know that? And he goes, because you're dumping ketchup all over it. So I know I obviously did something wrong. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Yeah. And, but I mean, it's an experience too, because so many people out here you come across in the Pizzaiolo community, they're so critical on themselves too. It's like that with anybody that is creating something, they're super critical on themselves, always giving themselves judgment, like, oh, I could have did this better, I could have did this better, and that's why I think it needs to be positive. I'm like, you guys are doing something that's pretty difficult that a lot of people don't have time or patience to do. So it's like, respect it, respect yourself overall. I mean, obviously you're going to have your own thoughts. I mean, when I create something, I'm like, I could have did this better. I could have did that better. But you look at someone else's viewpoint of it, they're just like, wow, you did the best you possibly could. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know I'm super critical of myself when I'm cooking or making pizza and that. So like, you hand out pizza to like your friends and family or whatever, and like take it out of the oven. Like I'm disappointed in it. You know what I mean? I put it down. And I'm, oh man, what is this? And then they bite it and they're like, holy shit, this is good. And you're like, well, yeah, but I fucked this up and I did that and I did this and whatever. I could have done this better. I could have used this better. And they're like, dude, tastes fucking awesome. But like when you're making it, you see all the mistakes
Yeah.
that other people might not see.
Have you had any crazy pizza combo ideas that what you want to do in the future or something? Like maybe a certain topping or a certain idea you've been trying to nail down, like a recipe?
The I mean, one of the stupidest sounding ones that I've done in the past that I still do every now and again um, is cheesecake pizza. So
You gotta explain here. Cheesecake pizza. I've had cheesecake, I think, once.
so yeah, like it all came about because I was making pizza like not long after I first got my uni oven, and I was making pizza. My sister came round, and she took a strawberry cheesecake round with her. And we had, like I had already bought some strawberries and stuff like that because I was gonna have a go at some dessert pizzas, and we ended up like cooking the pizza and taking the cheesecake base and like crumbling it on so that it got like toasted in the oven with the berries and some maple syrup and stuff, and then took the pizza out, put the cheesecake topping on it and like some mascarpone, and then put it just back in for like 20 seconds just to like melt a little bit. Took it out, and like we've been working on that a little bit for a while, trying to get it balanced better. But I mean, when you do it right, it really works. It sounds like it shouldn't, but it does.
How many types of cheese are in this pizza?
Um, just the mascarpone, just the mascarpone and like whatever's in the cheesecake topping.
Because I heard
So
somebody was trying to make like a 7-cheese pizza. And I was like, that the lactose intolerant people are going to be fucking pissed when that comes out. Like, I'm lactose sensitive. So if I eat a lot of dairy or something, it's a problem for everybody in the room. I don't care what it does to me. Like, if I have to take 20 shits, I'll take 20 shits. But if, if it's a good pizza slice, I'll go down with the ship. You know what I mean? Not hurting me at all. Maybe the paint on the walls or something might end up getting affected, but I'm down with it. But like, when I figured out somebody used instead of using pizza sauce or pizza cheese, they used marinara sauce, like the white style marinara, and it was like a vegetarian style pizza. And I was like, wow, this is actually a really good idea, a good twist of events on people that don't like cheese.
the best pizza in New York, they do a white pie, which is like ricotta, garlic, olive oil, and sesame seeds and caramelized onions, and that's one of the best white pies I've ever had. It's absolutely stunning, and there's not a lot of cheese on it. It's like all the flavor is coming from like the oil and the sesame and the caramelized onions, and
Letting
then
the
like
pizza speak for itself. I like that.
yeah, like the ricotta and that's on the top. It's only like a small amount, and it just gives you like that little bit of creaminess to like balance everything out together, and it is super nice.
Entertain me on this idea. So, stepping away from the supportive community, the benefit of society, if we did something like convicts and crust or something, some type of beneficial pizza movement, if you were going to choose any of the giant pizza corporations, let's name some off. I guess Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Red Baron Pizza, the frozen one too. We're going to include them in there. Um, just because they do what they do that thick. I mean, they do that monster thick crust like a French garlic bread pizza or something. Like they do that,
Yeah.
that big nice toast pizza. And then Chuck E. Cheese. Which one do you think, or Papa John's too? Don't forget them. Which do you think is more likely to be a cult? I feel like if we're gonna have a cult over something, it's going to be over pizza. Like that just seems like that we have a pizza Illuminati at one point.
Oh man, it's got to be Chuck E. Cheese, right? Everybody hiding behind those masks.
I was gonna say the same shit, dude. I swear to you. Do you have a Chuck E. Cheese down there?
No, we don't have it over here.
Did you hear what happened with them using leftover pizza slices from other pizza places and putting it into their pies?
No.
People were like, why the fuck does this pizza look completely different? There was like 3 slices that looked like from a Domino's pizza, then 2 slices that were Pizza Hut. Because people think pizza's pizza, but if you take a Domino's pizza and a Pizza Hut pizza and you look at them, the cheese is different, the style of
Yeah.
pizza is different. They just had different qualities to them, and they're like, this looks like you just took from a bunch of different pizza places and put it into one pie. Like 1/4 of the pie looks different than the other part of the pie, than the other part of the pie. And someone figured out that they were actually using leftover pieces of pizza from other pizzas that they had made and also other pizza joints and putting it together. So you were getting like a fucking Frankenstein pizza.
That's pretty crazy.
They got a lot of shit from that. I'm like, why would you? First of all, you're eating at a place just like I did when I was drunk. I ate at a place called Rassie's. You're literally eating at a food establishment and a game establishment like a Dave and Buster's, but not as fun. But its mascot's a fucking mouse. What do you expect the food to be like? You think that's going to be top-notch quality food?
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that video, the healthy junk food one, the other week, where like they caught Chuck E. Cheese out for like trying to open up under a different name, like Pasquale's or something, and sell it on like Uber Eats or something. So they were like, there was Chuck E. Cheese, which you could get, that was like a third of the price of this fancy Pasquale's homemade Italian pizza, but it was all getting made in Chuck E. Cheese.
I can just look at that. If I come across that name on the app, I'm just gonna be like, Pasquale's more like bullshit. That's what we call that's what we call fake pizza, my friend. I don't like that type of style. They just, when I look at them, I look at him and Papa John's, and I'm like, you guys are probably leading a cult somewhere. I feel like there's probably a couple bodies in the basement. I don't know what it is. Papa John's, no offense to him, watch him come across my podcast one day, be like, I heard you talk shit on me. I'm like, well, why is your hair always wet? Why every time I see a commercial, it's like, and me and my buddy Edgar, who's a Pizzaiolo, he goes, it's because he puts pizza grease in his hair. I was like, it makes sense because it always looks like it's perfectly wet. Like, did you just get out of the shower and decide, hey, Peyton Manning, thanks for meeting me out of my bathroom, and then fucking get ready to film a Papa John's commercial? I'm like, all right, this is where we're going with the world.
It's just all that pepperoni grease, man, just left over on his hands.
Fucking taking it, slicking it back like fucking Jersey Shore. I definitely think, if anybody's gonna be a cult community and a pizza community, it's gonna be Papa John's or something. I don't know. For some reason, my Domino's has burned down twice, so I've been really entertaining the idea. Okay. Yeah, it's 2 different locations too. I had a Wendy's burned down and then a Domino's burned down. And my buddy's like, no, dude, see the sign still out front. I'm like, yeah, but you see the building is covered like in black fire burns on the side of the building. That's not Domino's pizza style. Like, they're not a wood fire company, if you know what I'm saying. And he was like, dude, I think they're just remodeling. I'm like, the place is fucking burned down. There is a mafia thing. First it started with Wendy's. The guy told me it was Greek lightning, which I don't understand what that meant because we didn't have any rain or any storm clouds. It was sunny. So I think that it was an insurance scam. And then Domino's burned down. And then I'm sitting here left like, now my only options are Pizza Hut and Papa John's. And I don't like Papa John's. My buddy works there. I always walk by and stare at him through the window like, you guys suck. He's like, Rob, you want a slice? I'm like, no, I'm not serving you guys. You kind of get me into your cult conspiracies. That pepperoni is real people meat. Now, if you were going to do an idea, I do have this one I want to toss out at you because I feel like if I toss this out at another Pizzaiolo, they might dismiss it. They might, because a lot of them are like, that sounds ridiculous. But have you ever thought about making a breakfast style pizza, but using like hash browns and incorporating that, like shredded hash browns on top of the pizza crust?
I've never done it with the shredded hash browns, but like I'd be open to giving that a crack. Like I've done like breakfast style pizzas before, where like I mix like brown sauce, and I don't know. Do you guys have brown sauce in the US?
We call a lot of things brown sauce. That was my nickname in high school. So you have to help me out here.
Like HP sauce. I don't know if you guys have it.
HP sauce.
So mix that into the tomato sauce so that that's like the base, and then throw on like bacon, sausage, crack an egg on there. Like after it's like halfway through cooking, some black pudding. That kind of feel like just like what I would put in a cooked breakfast here. Put that all on a pizza and then let the egg on for like the last 30 seconds or so. And like, yeah, dude, it works.
I want to call this Break the Brunch Pizza. And what I want it to be is like using just like take like a regular pizza crust, and on top of the pizza do cheddar cheese, the stuff that you would put if you made an omelet with like or something. Take sliced up like a scrambled egg, put that on top of the pizza, and then you have like the nice cheddar all over it, and then you take shredded hash brown and shred that on top of it, and maybe add a couple diced up tomatoes, maybe a couple peppers or something to give it like an omelet style pizza. I think that'd be freaking banging, man. I want it to, and I want that, I guess the crust, when you take a patty or a McMuffin from McDonald's, that sandy part to it, that I want that on the pizza, because I mean nothing's better than a McDonald's egg McMuffin besides a Popeye's biscuit. That's pretty fucking banging.
Yeah, that is pretty good. But I'll give it a bash.
Well, you heard it here, folks. If he creates this pizza, you know what that means. I'm going to be a happy camper. I'm just saying. I had
I'll,
somebody create a Chick-fil-A pizza, and this one Pizzaiolo talked so much shit on the Chick-fil-A pizza. It was like we used the Chick-fil-A nuggets and incorporated it onto the pizza, and then used Chick-fil-A sauce as the sauce. Came out good. He put sliced pickles on it. It was fucking amazing. And everyone's like, it's not going to work. And then it was finished. They're like, wow, that actually looks really good. I'm like, you got to take the leap, man. Don't put Nutella on your pizza. Do something better. I mean, let's get Adam West in here. Oh, wait, he's dead. I mean, let's get somebody that knows a lot about pizza, not like Papa John's. I don't know. Rest in peace, Adam West. He was always the guy I always thought of when I thought of pizza.
no, then, yeah, we'll give it a try. And if when I get around to making it, I'll fire you a message.
There we go. Well, I think I've wasted enough of your time, Johnny B. I appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast, brother.
Hey, no, man, thanks very much for having me. It's been awesome.
Is there anything you want to promote, such as your Instagram page?
Well, yeah, I'm not really into self promotion, but in my Instagram is Johnny B Loves Pizza. If you're that way inclined, check it out.
Yeah, and if you hate having your toothpick in a sandwich, or if you have any of those stories as well, send me a message or send him a message and tell him it's okay. You're not the only person in the world that's ever almost choked and died on a fucking sword toothpick in your sandwich that's concealed under various toppings and forms of bread.